What is going on, everybody? Hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday afternoon. I'm your host, Bobby Goodsby. Today's topic we're going to go over is Fix It Friday. Today is Fix Survivor Friday, and the main thing we're going to get into is game mechanics and meta. So if this is your guys' first time joining us, welcome in. You can find us at After Show on YouTube. You can also find me on my Twitch account, twitch.tv/Bobby Goodsby. Appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here. Hope you guys are having a great Friday afternoon. A lot to break down, lot to go over, and I can't wait to do it with you all. If you guys can, get your comments here in the chat. Would love to hear from you guys. So the main thing is for today, Fix It Friday, we're going to be digging into the game mechanics and meta of Survivor, not just who wins, but how the game is built, how the rules shape strategy, and whether the meta has gone too far or is just right. I want to hear your thoughts as we go. What are the mechanics you love? What are the ones you hate? How would you redesign the game? If you could change one rule in Survivor tomorrow, what would it be? Do you think that the players have meted the game too much in the current new era that we have finally got to the point where the structure is completely gone from what old era Survivor used to be? Like I said, I want to get your guys' comments read live here on stream. Really look forward to it. So you could talk about mechanics as in, the merge, immunity idols, tribal council, challenge structure. Those are all the backbone of this game. And there's so many aspects that have changed over time with the mechanics of Survivor. They added immunity idols, which changed the game entirely. They forced players to think about more than just the votes and alliances. Now you have to think about backstabbing, betrayal, alliances, trust, what have you, even more because of the fact that immunity idols are out there. Do you want to see a back to basics type of season? What, as far as mechanics go, do you want to see? And then, like I said about the meta is way interesting to me because I feel like we've gotten to a place, especially with the 3-tribe format, and I've gone over this in depth on the Survivor podcast, but I wanted to bring it up here with you guys and get your guys' opinion on it all. The players have knowledge of how the game works at this point, right? So the viewers, they have an expectation going in that no matter what, we've gotten with this 3-tribe format that the meta is going to be completely broken, especially in 48 and 49, where we've seen the players be able to game it exactly as they should because the meta has been figured out. What are our expectations as viewers, and how does that influence the game? I mean, at the end of the day, it needs to be an entertaining show, correct? And we're still entertained. We still keep coming back to this game. But I wonder, is there a problem with the meta being completely written in stone on this is how you need to play, and there's no shakeup by the format on how to change that? For example, the meta has evolved from just a voting block to brainy idols to now it's like tribe formations, get your 4 strong, roll that into a tribe swap, and then from there take out the numbers of the other side so that your side's strong, and then once the merge happens you can just roll. Has that become too brainy? Probably. But for me, it's gotten to the point where I don't care anymore. It's almost like let's just roll to the merge, because at this point we can the first half of the season could be an email. But I want to get your guys' comments read live, like I said, here on stream. If you're new here, hit that sub button, hit the like button, hit the bell notification so you're notified when we go live. You can also follow me, twitch.tv/Bobby Goodsby, or my social media handles at GoodsbyBobby on X/Twitter and Instagram, where I always notify you guys when I go live. Just hit that like button if you can. It really helps us out here with the algorithm. All right, so let's get to your guys' comments. Juan says, hey, Bobby, before fixing mechanics, did you enjoy your time at the game yesterday? Oh, God. Well, it was awesome. And I'll just talk about this briefly because my chat here, they know I went to the Vikings-Chargers game. Diehard Vikings fan, if you haven't figured that out yet. The game was rough. But I did really enjoy We got to go in a party bus, which was sweet, had ESPN on the screen. Like, I can't complain. It was a free ride to the game and back. Then free suite tickets where I'll have to show you guys a video at the field that I took. It was amazing. So I can't complain. Like, I had a great day. It was an amazing day. Very fortunate to get that situation and be in that situation, to be able to, I was very blessed to have that opportunity. Having said that, the Vikings are just trash. Like, it's so bad right now. I haven't felt this bad about my team in a very long time. So that was rough. But like I said, not going to bore you guys too much with those details. With Survivor, too many advantages, more food challenges. I agree. Well, here's the thing. I don't always say I need the food challenges, but in the new era, I feel like the food challenges are more acceptable, right? Like, I feel like the food challenges, like, I'd be more for the food challenges from the new era because of the fact of the lack of food, that I am like here to see them at least not starve. Like, give them more of that, give them less advantages. You could just completely get rid of the journey. I don't need the journey. The journey adds nothing to the show for me, right? And I feel like we don't get a journey all the time, but at least like what? 3-4 times a season we have a journey, and do we really need it? I don't think so. But food challenges would be interesting. Bobby, how was the owner suite? It was awesome. I'll have to show it later in the stream when we get further in. I'll have to show you guys the video if I can pull it up on here. Marcus, what's going on? Fresh show. Thank you again for the comment. Good to see you, my friend. Marcus, what's going on? Good to see you again as well. Hey, Bobby, did you hear that people aren't liking Jeremy Collins' opinion that Parvati is not a 2-time winner, but instead a 1.5 winner? LL, he agrees with your take on that. I'm not alone. It's so good to see that I'm not alone. People came at me when I said, and that's a great way of putting it, it's like a 1.5 win. It's not a true 2 win. And I'm sorry if you disagree with that. You can disagree all you want. You guys know how I feel. But at the end of the day, we're all entitled to our opinion. So people can come at Jeremy Collins. I think it's a good take. I think it's true. It was fun. It was a cool little version of Survivor. Was it Survivor proper? In my opinion, no. But if you feel otherwise, that's completely fine too. Michael, or is it Michelle or Michael? I don't know. I don't want to mispronounce, but I appreciate you being here, getting your comment in here. My issue with Jeff and Jeremy talking about Parv and her win is that it has no place being talked about on an On Fire podcast. Jeff is taking a shot at Parv, Australia Survivor. So I didn't listen to the On Fire podcast with Jeff and Jeremy. But if that's the case, yeah, obviously they're bringing it up for a reason, right? They're bringing it up to make it show that Survivor proper is the U.S. format, and that obviously this little production by Australian Survivor is completely different. Give me 1 second, guys. I just got to close this door. Sorry about that, guys. So, it is funny to see that they kind of are harping on that because of the fact that obviously, Jeff wasn't thrilled having his U.S. players out there, right? Like, we all know that. It's the obvious, like the writing's on the wall. But I think the writing was on the wall from the very beginning with all that too. That we knew Jeff put a kibosh to it being US versus Australia, that they decided to go with the world theme because they weren't allowed to get more than only a few players from US to be able to play. So it doesn't shock me that Jeff's trying to take a shot here. And maybe Jeremy agrees with that. Maybe that is Jeremy's true take, or maybe he's saying that because he's on the On Fire podcast. Who knows? But I don't know. Also, I took a bunch of sodas home from the game too. Why not? So let's get into it, though. I want to hear your guys' opinion. Do you think that the meta has been figured out by this crew, right? By Survivor 49, you can even throw 48 in there. Hell, I feel like halfway through the new era, you could say a lot of these seasons have kind of figured out the meta on what you're supposed to do. Where I talked about on the Survivor podcast that it really shocked me that, old Hina, who is now on the new Kele tribe, that they didn't throw this challenge in, the episode from this past Wednesday. I absolutely thought they were in a situation where they had to throw that challenge, where you just saw that Matt was taken out. One of your numbers just got taken out. So what are you doing not throwing that challenge immediately? And you could do it where it's not so in your face that obviously Jeff doesn't want to see people throw a challenge. But you absolutely should in this situation. Now the numbers are against you. Now you're down 2 people from your tribe. And now the old Uli tribe can completely dominate the rest of this game with the help of old Kele. And you see Sophie B completely on the side of old Uli. And now you have old Hina. Their numbers are dwindled by 2. You don't know how much longer it's going to be until they do an actual merge. You have an idea, but we don't know for a fact when it's going to take place. Do you have 2 more tribal councils to hopefully lose and send one of those people out from old Uli in Shannon and Sage? Which obviously the target seems very big on Shannon right now. And that's the thing. It's like, I feel like the old Uli is playing exactly the format that you should. It's the meta, right? Where you have a block of 4, a solid 4. You're never going to turn on that 4. You have your 2 targets in sight. If a swap happens and you're in the side that has the majority, you go after the other tribe that has a similar majority as you. And that's what we saw. That's why Matt left. That's why, what is his name? Jason? What's the guy that left on Wednesday? I'm blanking on his name. Jason, right? I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they took out 2 old Hina. And now what? And now they're going to completely run when it goes to an actual merge. So yeah, I think the format is completely dead, right? Like, I think that the 3 tribe format has been completely meted out by this new era cast. It's been figured out. They know the format. They know what to do. They know how to game it. And even then, we've seen how the disaster tribe always benefits from this too. As long as you're one of the surviving members of the disaster tribe, there's a good shot you're going to make it pretty far into this game. That also has been meted out. The fact that you can just pull in one of these disaster tribe members and take them for the ride with your side, it's easy numbers. The 3 tribe format is dead. It's dead. And I hope after 50, and you guys let me know in the comments, I hope after 50, we get some kind of shakeup when it comes to the format. Because the meta game where you just have to build a core 4, then keep your numbers when the swap happens, and then merge, run the show. It happens all the time, and it's just so boring. It's so boring. And the fact is, I kind of also blame the cast, right? Because I know they're there to win. They want to win $1 million, what have you. But, like, don't you also want to make good TV? And good TV, even though I know I'm kind of going back on what I'm saying on that this is what you should do, you have to know this is not good TV, right? Like, this is not what us at home like to watch when it's just pretty predictable all the way through. And Jeff did say the season's going to get spicy and better as we get towards the merge. But why does it have to be like that? It's because of the format. It's because of the way they set it up. Mary, what did Jeff did this time? Nothing. He didn't do anything. I'm just suggesting that, like, obviously on the On Fire podcast, they're not going to completely give Parvati the 2-win luxury when it comes to Australia v. the world. And I feel the same way. I'm completely on the same side as them, that I believe it shouldn't be considered a 2-win season. It 1.5 feels about right, but it didn't feel like true Survivor. And I've said that to death at this point. Survivor had it perfect. 2 tribes, few immunity idols, good food reward challenges. It's muddied by too many twists and advantages. 1,000%. At the end of the day, that's really what it's come down to. The mechanics of the game, i.e. challenges, rewards, immunity idols, journeys. Like, it's all been, you can even throw in shot in the dark. Like, do we really need shot in the dark? Like, I don't really feel like it adds too much to the show. Sure, we've had a couple dramatic moments, but I feel like it's flawed, right? I feel like it's a flawed game mechanic that doesn't really benefit the player or the viewer, where you have a 1 in 6 chance of surviving, but you have to give up your vote. Like, at one point, is it worth it? You have to really know, hey, I'm 100% going home, and that's the only time you'll ever want to actually use it. So I do think that mechanic is flawed. If you don't know if you're completely on the outs, you're not going to use it. So it doesn't benefit the show, doesn't benefit the fans, doesn't benefit the players. Why would you give up your vote if you didn't know you were 100% going home? I do understand that people like that. It's like an element to the game that we didn't have before. And no one's really like, oh my God, this is the best twist ever. It's not. And it's only a 1 in 6 shot. But giving up your vote is so huge. That's your lifeblood. That's your voice in the game. You could also talk about the fire making challenge at the end for the final 4 fire making. Obviously, fans are very critical of that decision. I just feel like they've added too many mechanics to the game. And don't get me wrong, I love Survivor. I love what the show has brought me so much joy throughout the years. And maybe I'm being nitpicky, but you guys are nitpicky just as well as me. We all have a voice here. The show is open for open dialogue. Do they listen to the open dialogue? Probably not. In the hands of the fans. But at the end of the day, this is a reality TV show where we can have open dialogue and open opinion on the matter at hand. And it really opens up to what we actually like and want to see. And we let them hear our voices and hear it loud and proud that this is not what we like, whether they listen or not. We had 5 episodes and they've been so effing boring. Completely agree with you, Mary. Hope you're doing well, my friend. I do feel they do need to change the format time to time. And I'm not saying go back to a one world situation, because I think one world was very boring as well. But if you did some kind of like 2 tribe format where you go to a merge earlier, like there's no swap. It's 2 tribe format, and then you go to no swap. You go to an early merge where you can't completely meta it out. I think that's fair. I think that would be interesting. And let me know if you guys disagree and what your qualms with it would be. But like, if you did some kind of 2 tribe format, and then say instead of a swap, but at the swap position at 14. You go then to an early merge. And then obviously then you have to dwindle your way down to a jury phase. But I feel like it would at least open up for more backstabbing, more betrayal, or possibly big moves. Fresh Show says, with Skydance buying Paramount, they lifted the DEI quota for their shows. Could Survivor pick a non-diverse cast in the future? Oh, I didn't know that. Did they really? Skydance pulled the DEI quota? That's wild. I had no idea. I mean, I feel like they're still going to lean in the diverse category, which they should. I think the cast should be diverse. I think it's silly not to have a diverse cast because we have a diverse world. But that's interesting that they lifted that quota. That's wild to me. They tried so hard to replicate Kage-On and so bored. Well, the thing is, Kage-On was original because the game hadn't been meted at that point, right? And you were able to go after the people that annoyed you. You didn't have all these journeys, fire making challenge, shot in the dark. You had a lot more of people actually playing the game without the fear of all these other advantages in the back pocket. Well, yes, immunity idols were still a thing, and I still think immunity idols should be a thing. Obviously, we saw Tony have a super idol, which was something I don't think we should go back to. But yeah, I digress. I still think that there's a way to replicate Kage-On, but they're not doing it in the right way. And let Kage-On be Kage-On. It doesn't have to be every new season. pretty much you are the disaster tribe. You are going to be the protagonist 1,000% because you're the ones getting the most airtime, right? So a lot of the viewpoint is going to come through for the show's edit is going to come through your vantage point because of the fact that what else are they going to show? They got to show the vantage point of the people that are most likely going to tribal council. However, I don't think you can completely go away from describing the dynamics of those other tribes. And I feel like we got more old Kale than we probably needed, where you could have opened up the edit more to old Hina, old Uli, and even old Uli got way more than what we got from old Hina. Old Hina, we barely knew who these people were. So yeah, I digress. It's very, very frustrating because the fact is, like, it makes the edit even more swayed to one opinion. Is nobody iconic or legendary in the new era? I disagree. I think obviously you've got Carolyn, who's iconic. Like legendary, I think is open to interpretation. But like iconic TV characters, Carolyn, Jam is a very iconic character. Q, love him or hate him, but he's iconic for his craziness. Trying to think here, like. I feel like Andy is pretty iconic. Rachel is iconic. But legendary, I think, is more open to interpretation. And let me know what you think in the chat, because I think as far as like legendary players, I think Rachel played a very, very good game. But I don't know if it was like legendary. It's hard. It's hard to put anyone in the new era. And I feel bad for new era players. I really do. Because of the fact that the show really sold us on this is new era, this is new Survivor post-COVID, that automatically puts a line in the sand of, okay, this is not old Survivor. So anything after 40 is a whole different show, right? And it's the 26-day format. It's the lack of food, many things, right, added to that. And that's not the fault of the players, but maybe it's just cemented in my head that I just can't put them in the same category as the actual old school players or postmodern era players. And it sucks. And it's weird to put them in that box. And the show essentially made that a thing, right? They made you put them in a box. They made you put New Era Survivor on its own pedestal. Similar to Australia v. the World. I feel like it put Australia v. the World on a different pedestal of true Australian Survivor, true U.S. Survivor. It was a different format. However, I think New Era Survivor is closer to the game that we actually see from the old era than Australia v. the World. I think Australia v. the World was more gimmicky, but that's just me. All right. The only win who doesn't count is Chris Underwood. I don't think that's fair. I mean, at the end of the day, what's he going to do, right? Like, he's only playing given the circumstance he's in. You can disagree with the format. I don't disagree with his win, right? Like, he won because of the fact of the situation he was in, and he took advantage of it. But, like, you can't knock him as a player for the situation he was in. That's more on the show than it was on the player. Similar to like Parvati, that's on the format, right? It's not the player, it's the format. But I don't know. I just the fact that they were given so many luxuries, all this stuff, like I just don't see it as the same thing. It's not nitpicky. I understand that the game has to change because it can get tiring, but they added way too much, 1,000%. And that's the thing is, like, at the end of the day, when you have so many advantages and idols out there that you can't at home keep track of it on a weekly basis, we get to the point at a certain point in the season where there's so many advantages out there and so many idols and what have you, that I'm like, I honestly don't even remember who has what. And I'm just like, when someone plays something or talks about playing something, like, oh yeah, they did get that, didn't they? Or, oh yeah, they did lose their vote 3 episodes ago. I forgot about that. We just haven't seen them in Tribal, so I didn't remember. Like, and that's too much. That's too much. It's too much for us at home to be able to keep track of. It's too much for the players to like have to navigate on zero food. And then at the same time, it's absolutely gotten to be to the point where it feels like now it's just gimmicky. Now it's not, let's play a social strategy experiment. It's who can find the idols and make the big move. Kendra, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you again. I still hate the Packers, but I like you. Thank you for being here. Actually, I would enjoy having a 16 players, 2 tribes, no idols, and then next season 20 players with idols and swaps every episode. Change the format every week. I mean, I think I'd be more down like I get like change the format season to season, right? It doesn't have to be copy, rinse, repeat, right? Like we don't need, hey, it's got to be 3 tribes and we have the swap here and then we have this and blah, blah, blah. And here's some journeys. Like we can change it up. Seaside Joe, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining the chat. Hina is bad at strategy, but good at challenges. Kayla is terrible at challenges, but had some good strategists. If it has started at 2 tribes, maybe we get a better tribe face off. And that's what I think. The thing is, the 2 tribe format would have worked out great in this situation, right? We had a disaster tribe, which completely negates any of the gameplay that we see from the other 2 tribes because they have to show the one tribe being absolute disastrous. But when you have that 4 weeks in a row, 3 weeks in a row, what have you, it allows us not to know anything about the other tribes. If you had 2 tribes with the 90-minute episode, you should be able to get a lot more in. And even though the last 2 episodes have been boring, even with 2 tribes, it's because those formations of strategy and alliances were already set in stone. So therefore, it's not going to open up a lot of dynamic gameplay, but at least these last 2 episodes have been better than the first 3, have they not? Like the first 3 were really rough, and these 2 have been rough. I'm not saying they're not boring. They have been boring, but like at the end of the day, it's because there was already structure once those lines were drawn and they formed the 2 tribes. So if you started with 2 tribes, we won't have that problem. It allows for more dynamic gameplay. It allows for more people having a place to hide, opposed to, okay, well, we just went from 3 to 2. Well, we already have our numbers here. We're going to take out that other side. Easy, done. 1000%. New era would never be iconic for the format editing and the new focus on twists. It does question whether the show will ever go back to that, the style and the feel of old era. I don't think it will. Obviously, there's a lot of determining factors there. But at the end of the day, that's more on production than it is on the actual players. You can't blame the players for figuring out the meta. You can't blame the players for playing the game based off the mechanics at their disposal. You can, however, blame production for continuing the pattern, even though they realize the structure has been broken and that the iconic players that maybe we would have seen aren't the focal point of the season or of the show like they were in the past. I feel like 100% in the past, you got to know multiple players and multiple player strategies that built a lot on that format, on like, this is the show we're building around the characters, where nowadays it feels like we're building the show around the twists and turns, right? We're building the show based off of the immunity idols or advantages or what have you, more than we're building on the actual character development of the players at hand, where the players that they do showcase are now the front runners to get to the end. It's gotten to the point where you can read the edit so much in the very first episode that you have literally figured out that a certain person with a certain edit in the very first episode, in the first 5 minutes, every single season of the new era has at least gotten to the final 3. That's wild. That's wild. Every single person based off that edit in the first 5 minutes of episode number 1 has literally made the final 3. in 9 seasons. Like, that's just, is it just me, or is that just laziness? Like, where someone like me at home can be like, oh, okay, that's the last person to make a confessional on the boat ride in to see Jeff. That person's going to make final 3 every time. I mean, and for a while there that was the guaranteed winner up until the last few seasons. It's mind-boggling. And like, that is absolutely a format that needs to change. Where even the editing style has gotten to the point of predictability. And it's been true, guys. The thing is, I wish it wasn't. I go into it hoping, okay, I saw like who the last confessional was riding in on the boat. Hope it's not the same thing like last year where they either win or they make the final 3. And every single year it happens. Last person on 47 to make a confessional was Sue. On the boat ride in was Sue. Sue makes it the final 3. 48, it was Ava. Ava got second place. Like, it's so beyond frustrating. If you haven't seen that, I can explain it in more detail to you guys. That it's gotten to the point, like, I can show you the exact structure of what I'm talking about from season 41, where 41's the one outlier. Erica was the second to last person to talk. But I think it was, who was it? The final 3 were the last 3 to talk. And they all 3 made it to the final 3. So there is like one small difference, but it's not even a small difference. It's the same thing. Like, it's still that person's getting to the final 3. So, and you can make a case for that for every single season from 41 to 49. And that's frustrating. That's annoying. That's laziness. But I digress. We can say what we want about Parv's win in AUV the World being 16 days, but she survived 9 tribal councils, which is the same as Tony, first win, Dee or Kyle, and more than Michelle and Tom Westman. It's fine. Guys, I get it. I get that people disagree with me on that take. And you disagree with me. You disagree with Jeremy. I just don't see it as the same. I know 16 days, sure, whatever. That isn't even my biggest bugaboo. It was very first 5 minutes into the game, they're getting all these rewards. The gender disparity. The fact that it was like these legends versus, maybe not so much legends. There's a lot there, and I hate to like continue to run down that topic because I feel like I've laid my opinion out there many, many times over. But it just frustrates me because I just don't. It's like, if you're gonna say that's a true win, then it's like, say freaking reindeer games is almost the same thing. And I know it's not, but you know what I mean. My choice for new era legendary player is Savannah. She is so lovely, smart, and skilled player. I mean, she absolutely could be. We know we're going to get her on 50. Still have no idea how she does on 49. But she looks like she has all the makings of being that player. Like, could be an absolutely legendary player. Who knows how she does on 50 too? She could easily go in there and win 50. We don't know. But we still have a lot to see with her game that I'm not going to put her in that category yet. I don't know if there's like I think Jesse is another one that I would have put in the legendary category had he won, but he didn't win. Iconic, sure. Him, making the moves that he did are fun, man. Fun way to watch a game. But get your guys' comments read live here on stream. What do you guys think about the game mechanics, the meta of Survivor nowadays? How would you change it? What would you fix? Let me know in the chat. The only legendary iconic player of the new era is the Snake, factually. Oh, I mean, get that Snake its own statue. It should be on the next Island of the Idols. Fix Survivor, time for Jeff to go. Nobody is bigger than the show. Oh, I mean, Jeff is the showrunner and host. Like, I don't see Jeff going anytime soon. Jeff will go when Jeff wants to go. And I have no problem with that. I like Jeff as a host. I think Jeff is fun and does bring a lot out of the characters. But I think that Jeff is better as the host than he is the showrunner. I think he's built this idea that it's his way or the highway, and like nothing else anyone else says matters. But that's because I think that he's like very sold into the game mechanics that they have built. But I think that we have seen that when you continue to copy and paste those same game mechanics and meta and what have you every single season, the players are going to eventually figure it out. And we've gotten to that point. What about after merge, Big Brother double eviction type week with HOH, noms, veto, vote, maybe even blockbuster, roadkill, or battle the block? I mean, then what? We're just playing Big Brother on an island? Like, I mean, so you could do like a double elimination, but we've seen double eliminations happen. They sound better on paper than they actually end up being. I don't think noms is the way to go. We've talked about it many times where there's different format changes. And the thing is, guys, like what we come up with could be just as bad. So I don't want to completely knock on these producers for trying new things. I appreciate when they try new things. I just feel like they haven't tried a new thing in a minute. I feel like it's been very much so copy paste with everything new era this season or throughout this whole new era. And like you can even say that with the challenges, where the challenges are the same every single season. Where I just kind of yada the challenges at this point because of the fact that it's like, okay, we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna from last season, it's these two different ones, but we're gonna merge them together. So you're getting the same challenges just merged in different in different situations. Like take one ending from one challenge last season and the beginning of another challenge, and then we're going to mix those two for this new season. It's just copy paste, just mix and mingle. But I digress. Like it's really, I just feel like they need to freshen it up, similar to how Big Brother needs to freshen it up. Big Brother needs to freshen it up in a lot of ways when it comes to production. But I think that format needs to change for Survivor. Big Brother also has gender disparity, especially when they cast 13, 15, or 17. I mean, what was it this season? This season was how many people? 17, 18? Well, the thing was, it's because they brought Rachel in, right? So I feel like it's different with Big Brother, though, right? Like with AU versus the world, it was because you had two tribes, already smaller tribes, and then you have a gender disparity on already a shortened, condensed season with two tribes and smaller tribes. So that's more of a problem than a gender disparity in like Big Brother, where there's not actual tribe formations. You get what I'm saying? Like, yes, I don't think gender disparaging is good at all, but I think that Big Brother can get away with it more because of the fact that it's not tribes. Doesn't we discount Hayden win because we're more men in the cast? I mean, you can absolutely put that caveat there, but like I don't think so, because like I said, like it's not two tribes. Two tribes is already dwindled numbers, where you have two tribes of, what was it, 5? Instead of a full cast where anyone can work with anyone. It's essentially, yes, there is a gender disparity, but it's like not the same, if that makes sense. And maybe it makes sense more in my head than I'm trying to relay via my verbiage, but because they're not all working together, it's just different. Like anyone can work with anyone on Big Brother. Survivor, you're condensed to two tribes, and it's much smaller numbers and less place to hide, where you can use those gender bonds a lot different than you can on Big Brother. Same with Maggie and Boogie win, since the gender benefit them. I feel like I kind of explained my thoughts on that. Also, and said this before, does Dan win count if the cast is almost all white? Does that win count then? That's the reason I don't like your argument about gender in favor of poverty. So how do I explain this one? So that's an interesting point, Mary. I'll give you that. Like, that is a good argument to my point and a good counter argument. I think that it's rough. I think you kind of got me stumped on this one, because how do I explain that with being fair to what you're saying and what I'm saying? You might have stumped me on this one. You might have brought up a good point that obviously the racial difference was different on like a dance win than what it would be in like more modern Big Brother. And does that count the same? Obviously. And it wasn't just that factor. It was one of many factors, I feel like, as to why I thought the Parvati win didn't count as a full win. And I would have said this with anyone. I would have said this with a Tony win, a David win. Like, it wasn't just because it was her. So you bring up a very good point. I'm gonna have to think about more arguments off the top of my head to that argument. All right, survivors should ban the A word, alternate. Nobody cares if you're an alternate. Being an alternate doesn't mean to lay down and die. Well, at the end of the day, like, alternate doesn't mean anything. This person could have easily been on the cast. So it's like you essentially are part of the cast. You're doing all the same things that the cast does without actually like getting the chance to play the game until the last second. So you're no different than anyone else. It's not like you're a lesser player. So like, as soon as you put the alternate out there, you're putting like a lesser player adjective on your gameplay, which isn't a thing. You're putting an unnecessary target on your back for these people being like, well, this person wasn't supposed to be out here anyways. Like, why even bring it up? I agree. I think it's stupid to even use that. And that's why I think MC's doing so well, because she didn't mention that to anyone. Then Earl's win don't count. Got it. Chris Underwood is a winner, but Earl win doesn't count. Bobby G. I never said that. I never said that. You're putting words in my mouth, Mary. Jawan is taking Savannah bag and water bottle on purpose. He's trying to hide that he is the creepy stalker guy. It's kind of weird, right? Kind of weird. Kind of got to the point of like, feels like it's on purpose. And I talked to this with the guys on the Survivor after show. I was like, is it not very clear like whose name is on each water bottle? And Gabe said that him and Sue used to mix up their water bottles all the time. Johnny joked that he did that on purpose to make out with Sue, which I thought was pretty funny. But I mean, apparently they put your initials on there. So it's frustrating to see, like, he grabbed the bag. That's a one-time thing. It was a mistake, what have you. But then the water bottle and like drinking out of someone else's water bottle, like, that's kind of like violating, right? So I can feel why Savannah would be very annoyed by this, right? Because it's like, bro, I don't want your gross mouth that hasn't brushed their teeth in a week on my freaking water bottle. I totally get why she'd be annoyed by that. And if you give anyone in the game a chance to target you for anything or any matter, that's a big one right there too. Taking someone's water bottle. Excuse me. Taking someone's water bottle and drinking out of it. That's pretty gross, especially when you haven't brushed your teeth in 7 days. So yeah, I definitely think like there's an aspect that feels like it's targeted towards Savannah, and we don't know for what way. And it could be absolutely accidental, but it does put that question in your head when it's happened multiple times now, right? Like, it definitely put the question in my head. So yeah. For me, if you survive the votes, you don't get eliminated, and you got the majority of the votes of jury, then you deserve your win. That's why Jillian, Jag, and Chris had an asterisk. So let me read that again. If you survive the votes, you don't get eliminated, and you got the majority of the votes of jury, then you deserve your win. That's why. So then let me put this argument out there because I know how you feel. So then do you feel if Natalie Anderson on season 40 would have won Survivor Winners at War, would there have been an asterisk, Mary? Because you can put that in the same category as Chris. It's even worse than a Chris because Chris at least lasted longer. So I put that argument out there to you. Would you have put an asterisk on a Natalie win? Or do you think that it would have been a proper win? I feel like I've heard you before very much so stick up for Natalie. So if you're going to put an asterisk on all those other people, you got to put an asterisk there if she would have won. All right, let's see. You said yes, Natalie, 100% Natalie would have won. It would have been an asterisk. Okay, all right. I'm on to you, Mary. I'm on to you. I know your ways. Oh my God, it's such a non-big deal about water balls. She is overacting like you are. It's not an overreaction when like it feels targeted, right? So you're already out there. You're annoyed, like you're deprived of food, deprived of like your normal amenities. You are looking for any reason to target someone. So it's not an overreaction when someone does something, and even though it might be little in the real world, it's looked under a microscope when it comes to being on Survivor. And it gives you ammunition to go after that person regardless. So I don't think it's overreacting. I don't think she's overreacting. I'm overreacting because I just don't think I would want someone's grimy mouth on my water bottle after 7 days of no toothbrush. That's just my opinion, though. I hope he is doing it on purpose. That makes it better. It feels like it's targeted. It feels like it's on purpose, but like there's nothing to show that that's actually happened on purpose. If Yellow Tribe loses the immunity challenge again before the merge, is Sophie B the next to go? I don't think so. I think 100,000% Joanne. And I think the show has pretty much given that to us, right? The other tribes might think it would be Sophie B next on the chopping block. 1,000% if they go there, it's gonna be Joanne. And at that point, you kind of like you're ready for the merge to happen, right? Because now at this point, it doesn't matter what happens. I feel like in the next episode, someone from old Uli is gonna go, where it's either gonna be Joanne or it's gonna be Shannon. And the show's pretty much led up to that this entire way, right? And that's another problem with the edit, right? And I understand the numbers dwindling. I made that argument earlier. But we've gotten to the point where the numbers have dwindled so much that it's going to be 100% someone from old Uli going. And that's fine. They'll still be one up in the numbers going into a possible merge. So, yeah, I think that Sophie B's fine. I think they would think that Sophie B would be the next one to go. But she's insulated herself so much into that tribe that she'll be safe because of the numbers and the bond she has with Savannah, for example. 100% Natalie would have won. It would have been an asterisk. So thank you for clarifying. By the way, this cast of Survivor, for the most part, is garbage and boring. There's just not a lot of people there's not a lot of movers and shakers. There's a couple. The movers and the shakers of the season are, in my opinion, Sophie B, Savannah. That's about it. Honestly, kind of putting Sage in that category after this last episode. Sage played extremely well in this last episode, in my opinion. She did everything I think you should be, especially when you're in a situation where it's clearly you versus the other person. Do what you can without being pushy to get that person thrown under the bus without completely giving away your opinion on the matter, right? She let people come to her with ideas on how people felt about Shannon. She let them come to her and be like, well, how do you feel about it? I was like, oh, well, I this is what we're thinking. Yes, I agree with that. And that's exactly what you should do. Who was the least shown on Survivor 49? I've never seen Sophie S until last week. Sophie S has got to be up there, right? Sophie S is up there. You could put, who else? MC, kind of. We got more MC this episode, but she's kind of hidden in the edit. I think that, oh man, I honestly, Sophie S is probably number one. Sophie S is probably number one. Is she gonna die? Germs are everywhere, so why care? LOL, germaphobe. It's not. It's like the precedence of it. It's like the precedence of you took my water bottle and drank after it, and like that, I feel violated for that. It feels like you did that on purpose. Like I can understand that mindset. What I can give you about Parvin is less impressive, beating a smaller cast with a shorter time. Thank you. Okay, at least you can give me that. Beating 20 people with no medevacs with survive or 39 days in a final 2, that is more impressive win. And that's what it comes down to, right? I'll even give the 26-day season more credit than the 16-day less people situation. So also, what is up with the Pepsi can? Never seen one like that. LOL. I got this one from the game. So I went to the Charger Viking game last night, and this was in the suite, and so I took one home with me. It's delicious. Only one I like is the older guy, Nate. Nate is cool. I like Nate a lot. I do think he's playing a good game, but I'm starting to worry about Nate a little bit, and we saw a little aspect of that in this episode where him with MC, when they were in the journey, and at the journey, he was like, oh, he played it right, where he was like, oh yeah, let's get down to one bag, and then you can go look, and then we'll just do it when the time's about to run out. I'll let you know, and we'll clear the last bag so we both get to keep our votes. But then seeing the hourglass and how much sand had expired and how much sand was still left when he said, hey, you got to get back. I mean, if I were MC, I would have questioned it too. There was still plenty of time. Plenty of sand in that thing where he could have let it go for probably another 5 to 10 minutes from what it looked like. It looked like they had barely even used half by the time she came back. Where I would be questioning that if I were MC2, being like, is he doing that on purpose? Is he trying to prevent me from looking? I think 100% that was very questionable judgment on his part when it comes to ending that sooner than he probably should have. He should have probably given her more time. But at the same time, for him, it allows him to know that she didn't get anything. But that was the one aspect of his game that made me worry for his longevity when they do eventually merge. John, what's going on, my friend? Thank you so much for joining the chat. Hi, Bobby. From a fan perspective, Survivor as a whole has gotten less cast-oriented and more Jeff production, flexing their muscles and showing how great their ideas are. Thoughts? 1,000%. It's, and I said this earlier, it's gotten to the point where we don't get full character development like we used to. That time is now, even in a longer iteration with the 90 minutes, it has now gotten to the point where we are watching a show that is more idle and advantage driven than we are social strategy and getting to know the players and their actual human emotion while being on the island. Like, there's nothing for us to be able to connect with these players. We got a little bit of it when we got the confessional with MC and like her talking about her being too muscular and all that. Like, we need more of that character development with all the players instead of just giving us, okay, now we're going on a journey. Now we're going to go find this advantage. Now we got to beware advantage. And we got to do 20 steps that can lead into multiple episodes of wondering how they're going to find this stupid beware advantage instead of just find an idol. Okay, I got an idol. We're good. Now we can start developing all of these characters more because the idols have been found. I don't have a problem with the idols being out there. I think idols are a good part of the game and a lot of fun. We've seen idols make for some of the most exciting TV that's come from Survivor. The problem is when you throw in too many advantages and those advantages take forever to complete to get to the point of the climax of that story, it takes up the majority of the episode. So at the end of the day, once that's done, like, we got no time left to actually have character development or strategic development in the game. Granted, a lot of that's also because the format, and I've said it before, we said about it a million times on this episode, the format has allowed for the structure to not really change because people know exactly what they're supposed to do. They figured out the meta, and now they've run it to its course. So if there's no actual strategic gameplay going on because people already know what they're going to do because they figured out the meta, they know what they should do to get themselves further in the game, then you've lost that aspect. And the only thing you have left is character development. But the character development is eaten up by the time that we use for these advantages. It's insane. There should be equity there. There should be equity in the formation of the episode when it comes to character development, strategic, social strategy, and whatever advantage or challenge might be there. But it feels 30 minutes of the show is freaking the challenge. Then 20 minutes of it is the going to the journey or finding the beware advantage. And then the rest is camp life, social strategy, and a little bit of getting to know the players. And that's a problem. Didn't even know there was 2 Sophies, and that's the problem. When you've got a casual like Dave in here who doesn't even know there's 2 Sophies on the cast, that's a problem. And Dave, you know I'm saying that half-heartedly, but not fully. But like that's a problem, right? Like, first off, why are you casting 2 Sophies? Why do you really need that other person? They're like so instrumental of being a part of this cast that you had to have 2 people with the same name. Makes it for very confusing season. You can figure it out, but like it's still like, why can't you just hold one of the Sophies for a different season? And then you have one Sophie completely dominating the edit, probably the most recognizable person from the season so far, up there, arguably, and the other, the most under-edited person on the season. And I feel bad for the Hina Sophie because you're not even the best Sophie on your own season. But that's because that's what the edit is giving us. And we know nothing about Hina Sophie. We know nothing about her. So I guess Tom is the most impressive since he beat 20 players, no medevacs, and had a final 2, but there's a lot of technicalities there. And there's technicalities in every win. There 100% is. 100% is. How was the game last night? Don't talk to me about the game. I had a great time at the suite, the ride, all that. The game, on the other hand, utter disaster. For example, I would have had not mind introducing the loss or lose your vote when an extra vote twist for a season, but when no other twist in between the entire having a vote or not should be had been it. But when no other twist in between the entire having a vote. Yeah, I mean, yes. So exactly. Like you can have these advantages. You can have moments where the advantages are in play. They just don't need to overpower the storyline. And when you can have one advantage. I'll give Jeff this. Have one advantage. Do we need 3, 4, 5 advantages throughout the season out there? Whether it be lose a vote or gain a vote or knowledge is power. No, you can have one out there, but when you have so many, if we had what we had, where we had advantage get in, how is that not the outlier that like, okay, this obviously should not be a thing anymore. We're obviously putting too many advantages in the game where one of your most beloved players of all time is taken out because there are so many advantages and twists out there that she got advantaged out of the game. How's that not an issue? It should be an issue. But you had 10 twists going on with different mechanics. It is too hard to follow, and it stills the strategy of the players. Yep. And that's basically what I just said. I completely agree. The mob caught fixing NBA games. Is it possible the mob fixed Survivor seasons? For example, the mob favoring Survivor 48 Ava by placing a secret advantage that appeared suspiciously placed for her to find, right? It was like literally right in front of her. Yeah, that whole mob NBA thing is crazy. Yeah, no, it's just wild. Like that feels like more a production thing to me than the mob. David, you found us. Okay, look at that picture. Look at that. Look at that old man on there. Hey, I found you on YouTube. God, I have two Bobbies talking at once. Help me. So what you do, Dave? I know it's hard because you're older. You go to this little X in the top corner, and you click it on the one you don't want to watch, and then you can watch one stream. It's a crazy feature. It's a crazy world we live in. The technology these days. Oh, Dave, I love you, bud. Kendra says, knowing who is on 50 has me focusing on them and not the other ones. Kind of wish I didn't know. I still, and I said this a couple weeks ago on stream, I don't understand why for 50 they did reveal like, hey, okay, these are the cast members for 50, but not hide the fact that who the 49 players were. They absolutely should have, right? And I know that they did when they announced the cast with Jeff announcing it on CBS. But then you have like Dalton Ross out there who always, gives us the cast ahead of time via InsideSurvivor.com. Go check them out. He does amazing work over there. No shot at him, but like, couldn't you have barred him from at least revealing the 49 players? Like, you could absolutely say all the other players. That's not a problem. But like, bar them from giving any information on who the two 49 players are. And I know that information would eventually get out there. That's what's going to happen. It's obvious because people are going to know. But at least like you could have hit it a little bit more because 100% it's got me focusing on the two players that we know are going to play 50 as well. And Rizzo right now, we know he's on 50, but I haven't seen anything to show me why besides the Riz God moniker. I mean, what have you seen from Rizzo's game that makes it so that he should be out there more than Rob Sesternino, or Johnny Fairplay, or I don't know, anyone, like anyone from old era. Why did we have to have a cast of half new era, half old school? It's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating. And maybe he'll impress the second half of the season. He does have an idol that everybody knows about. Literally everybody on the cast now knows about his idol. So where is this going to happen? Where is this crazy Rizzo play going to happen? I don't know. John says one advantage in addition to regular idols with no gimmicks to get them, old school idol hunt, LOL. Exactly. Like, that's fine. Like, regular idols are fine. I think idols are a good part of this game. I don't disagree that idols should be there. One advantage or no advantages, I'm cool with. We don't need the journeys. We could do a shorter challenge. I want to see more camp life. I want to get to know the characters more. I want to see more tribe dynamics and gameplay than I do want to see them finding an advantage and having to hunt down all the aspects of the advantage through 20 minutes of the episode. I don't need that. Is there an idol blocker? I mean, I'll be honest, even hands, I don't know. There could be, but there's been so many like twists and turns. I can't keep track of it. And that's how I feel about every season. Now it's gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm not even trying to keep track of it through these seasons, through multiple seasons of the new era, because I could be remembering back from 2 seasons ago, someone had an idol and I'm thinking it's part of this one, or it could actually be a part of this one. I don't remember because there's been so many, it's hard to keep track of. And my brain's just like, well, just wait for it to play out. Wait for them to talk about it because I don't know. We've seen idol blockers in the past, like in Island of the Idols, but I don't. That's the thing is like, I don't even know what advantage there are. Gee, thanks, Bobby, for telling me. I would have never figured it out. Votes as currency could have been fun, but yeah, remove the earn the merge, even immunity idols, and focus solely in on that for the one season. I agree. Like, The idols you can keep around, but if you got rid of all the advantages, there's no advantages for the season, and there's just, your basic, one idol per camp, and that's it for the whole game, and maybe one more at the merge tribe. I'm okay with that. And I know that seems like a lot, but like if you realistically go back to 2 tribes, you have one idol on on each of the 2 tribes, and then one idol at the merge. Most likely an idol's getting played pre-merge. And then you only have, 2 idols, and then it's basically back to basics. You don't need the journey. You don't need all of these little gimmicks. They just add too much for the consumer to remember. Riz flop. Yeah, well, so far. I mean, I thought at the time too that RIZGOD, Riz God baby, I thought that would be like we'd hear it maybe 1 or 2 times throughout the season. Within the last like 2 and he was doing good for a minute. He wasn't saying it at all. Granted, we weren't really seeing him. But within the last 2 episodes, I think I've heard it 8 times. I get it. It's his little thing. It's fine. It's fun. It's whatever. But I don't need to hear it 8 times on my screen. I don't. Also, new era seasons blend together. They really do. Because that's another great point, Mary. The new era seasons blend together because there is no title. There's no format. There's no theme to the season. I guarantee you, if you ask me to name people from 44 and 43, I'd probably mix and mingle. But if you told me to tell you Kagayan and Game Changers, I know exactly who's on those seasons. Why? Because there's a theme, because there's a format. Because there's true divisions between that season and another season. Pearl Islands or Micronesia. I can tell you exactly who was on those seasons. 45 and 42, I'd probably mix and mingle them. I hate that we have no theme. I hate the new theme, that there's no theme, that it's just straight numbers for the season, because it makes them all blend together. With the exception of like 47. 47 was obviously the best new era season we've had. And that one, I can pretty much point out the cast completely because it was just a good season. But other than that, they all kind of blend together. And give me 5 years. 5 years from now, it might blend in with the others because there's no theme to the season. So yeah, I agree with you there. Is Gabe on 46 or 47? No idea. Well, he was definitely on 47, but I know that because he's my friend. But yeah, like, I get it. I completely agree with you. And that's a problem with the game mechanics too. Like, I know it's hard to come up with a theme, and the problem that they were having too is like they then had to cast around that theme. But that's how it should be. You should have to work for it a little bit and build a theme that just go to Chat GPT and type in there, give me a theme for a Survivor season. I guarantee you it'll give you like 20 that you could easily use that you probably never thought of. That would be better than just the straight 46, 47, 48 of it all. But yeah. So yeah, get your guys' comments read live here on stream. I appreciate everyone who's been in the chat so far. Twitch.tv/BobbyGoodsme if you want to give me a follow over there. At After Show on YouTube. If you want to follow us on YouTube, I go live every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday from noon to 2 p.m. Pacific. If you guys can, give me a like, give me a follow, give us a thumbs up, hit that bell notification so you're notified whenever we go live. We've got 15 to 20 people in here on the chat. If you guys can't, just hit that bell notification, hit that like button. The like button especially helps us out a ton. At Goodsby Bobby on my social media handles. But yeah, give me some more things, guys, like some more themes that you guys are thinking of. I'll bust out a couple that I wrote down here. So possible redesign ideas to seed. Limit each player to 1 idol per season. Like, you can limit them so that if they found an idol earlier in the season, doesn't matter if they find another one later on, they can't use it. That'd be very interesting. Like you could give it to an alliance member, or you could, like there's ways you could rehide it, what have you, but you could only use one a season. I think that would make it at least so that there's less advantages out there and maybe creates a little more dynamic gameplay. You can then like spy on where you hit that idol and see who finds it, so you have an idea, but knowing you can't use it after you've already had used one or found one. Interesting. Make all advantages visible to test pure strategy. So like give them all info at the tribes, right? Like in the camp. It's not where you have to go find the advantage or go on a journey and you can have whatever information you want to hide from your tribe. Give that the tribe all at one time the visible copy of what the advantage is that everyone here can look for, and maybe like even like how to find it might make it a little more interesting. Obviously 39 days we all want, that's not going to happen, so that one you can kind of like whatever, yada yada, but we would like to go back to 39 days. Changing the final format, maybe final 2 instead of final 3. Final 2 would obviously, that's something we've always said we like to. Maybe that way we could also get rid of the fire making challenge in some capacity. So I want to know from you guys, if you were running Survivor next season, what rule change would you implement and what would you remove? A lot of that I think is very interesting. It's gotten to, like I said though, like I just want to see less twists, less advantages, less idols out there. Like I'm okay with idols being out there, but I just need less of it all. It's too hard for us to remember as fans, and it's too much for the players have to game through. It's just when the find that idol play has become like overshadowing the social tribe dynamics at camp, like that's a problem, and that's a problem with the season. Is there a certain twist or advantage that you guys would want to get rid of completely, that you would want to eliminate entirely from the game? Like I feel like there's a lot that we could put out there and say that about. All right. John says more social class divisions for themes. So many great ways to differentiate people in a non-controversial, controversial yet competitive way. Yeah, absolutely. Like we've seen them do it by like job classes. We've seen it do it by obviously race, which is a little more hot topic. But you could do it in like a way of like maybe we've seen like fans versus favorites. We've seen all kinds of stuff, but you can have a theme, right? Like any kind of theme to represent a season makes that season instantly more memorable. And here's the thing. Yes, they said they want to cast based off of the theme of the season, and that makes it harder to cast. You can make up a theme about anything, and someone's going to have a way to individualize it towards them, right? It's even though it might not make sense, the theme with that person. How many seasons have we seen with the theme that person's like, well, that doesn't make sense that person would be part of that, but whatever, I don't care. And then they just feed into it and acting like, yeah, they own it. Like it is the theme that they represent because they want to be on TV. They want to play this game. The theme should be a part of the season, and it doesn't matter if it represents you or not. And the show doesn't have to like avidly look for people that a certain season represents a certain person. Heck, I don't even dislike the one world twist. I feel like I feel by fusionated with gender kind of nuttier. Yeah, and there was one world made it, yeah, like the whole gender, like they had basically gender versus gender, which they also had like Amazon. Like I think that's also one that's like not necessarily what I need, but I don't hate it as much as I hate other things. How about each island gets the same copies of idols, but only the first idol, or excuse me, first island to use it actually has powers? That's interesting. That's very interesting. So to repeat that so that you guys understand. So each each island gets some copies of idols, but only the first island to use it actually has powers. Well, then that also kind of puts into account like the first tribe to go to tribal council then is the one that would obviously you just use it right away, so that no matter what, the other island would just think that they have an idol that's going to be able to be played. but actually doesn't. The best part of it would be if you didn't tell them that the first island to use it is the only time it has power. Is if you told them, hey, there's a secret about this and it will be revealed after it's played. That I think is more interesting, because then if you're just the first tribe to go to tribal council and you found an idol, you just instantly play that idol that night. If you knew the stipulation was once it's played, the other idol at the other camp doesn't have power. So you tell them, hey, this will be a special idol. You won't know until it's played what the power actually is. Then they could be like, well, ooh, now I really want to save this. So you save it a little bit further, and then it gets to the point where once you play it, then they'll understand, oh, I played it, so now I know the other tribe doesn't have it. But they don't know that going into it. You know what I mean? Like Jeff could be like, and the special power is now the other tribe that has this same idol, it has no power anymore. You playing this eliminated the power of that idol. And everyone would be like, whoa, you know, like that would be a cool moment. And it infuses, what I like about that is it infuses the advantage and idol together, where they're one and not multiple idols or advantages. It's one gimmick in an actual idol. That I like. I would remove Jeff as producer. I mean, he has the power there. I don't think that's going to happen. No, HH was kind of dumb theme, though. I mean, yes, there have been some very dumb themes. There's been some very dumb themes, and that one is one of the big ones. Like heroes, healers, hustlers. Like, really? But like, at least we all can remember who the cast was from that strange formatted season. Could we not? I did like the have and have nots twist on Fiji. It kind of makes the season had their own feel. I think that was a good twist. I do. I do agree that I think that something like that can work. And the fact that they never really went back to it was kind of crazy to me. How about one island has to play blindfolded and the second one has to play deaf? Well, now I know you're just trolling. I'm just saying there's got to be a way to shake it up a little bit to at least allow the gameplay to evolve, where it's not just so cut and dry. Why can't we do America versus Canada, or rural versus city, suburban, or Brain Brawn Beauty 3, since they had 2 home run seasons on that theme itself? I mean, they should. They should. They just don't want to go back to themes. They think themes are too hard to cast that exact cast for that theme. And also, I think that they just really, it's easier for them, right? Like at the end of the day, 26 days opposed to 39 days. It's easier on them. No theme for the season, just having it be numbers. It's easier on them. No changing locations, just only doing it in Fiji. It's easier on them. See a pattern here, right? And the 2 people on Exile Island been the only twist on Token Teens, gives us very interesting dynamics. Yeah, would you guys want to see Exile Island back? I don't know if I need Exile Island, but it's because then that's just adding another element, right? But would you rather have Exile Island opposed to Journeys? I'm curious your guys' opinion. But yeah, there's so many mechanics, so many ways to shake up the game where it's not so cut and dry and it's not so in your face with okay, there's 20 different advantages out there that we all have to keep track of now. Like in the old days, we were able to just like build trust, win challenges. Now you need to track idols, advantages, fake merges. The meta is deeper, but way more exhausting at this point. Like I don't know what the answer is. I don't. And I'll be the first to say it. I'm not telling them this is what you have to do. I'm saying there needs to be a shakeup. And I know you guys aren't leaning into that shakeup. I don't know what the answer is, but something needs to change. We have some ideas. I'd be happy to throw some ideas to Jeff if he ever would hear me. I know he won't, but if he did, I'm here for it. Also, I forgot to say this at the beginning of the stream. I have some big news for you guys. And do you want me to reveal it now or at the end of the stream? Let me know. But I have a big announcement I'm very excited to share. And I hinted to it a little bit in the comments on my last video to Kate the Great One, who asked me a question. So if you guys haven't checked out that podcast or that live stream yet, go check out my Tuesday live stream I did, and go check out the comment section. Got a big reveal that I'm announcing and very excited about. So now people want to know. All right, guys. So I messaged a lot of people, obviously, from the Big Brother cast, from Big Brother 27, on getting an interview set up. And Johnny talked to Ashley. I think we're still in the works of making that work. I'm not sure. He said he was going to contact her again on Monday. But guess who I heard back from? Rachel Riley. Rachel will be on the live stream. I'm shooting for next week. We're still working the schedule to make it work for her, because she's got a lot going on right now. But I'm shooting for next week. Rachel Riley will be on the live stream. I will give you guys an exact day and time once I know. Obviously, I might have to change my live stream hours around for that one episode to accommodate whatever she needs, because I told her, let's do it. She finally messaged me back. She said, sorry, I've been crazy busy. I would love to come on your live stream. I'm very excited to talk about the game with you and the chat. So what I need from you guys, and I will also talk about this later. So Rachel coming on the live stream, I need to differentiate myself from, like, obviously Taryn's already interviewed her. Other outlets have already had their one-on-one conversations with her. I'm currently an hour and a half into Taryn's interview with her from Monday out of the 4-hour podcast, which is crazy. But for the time that we do have her, the thing that I think I'm going to do that's going to differentiate my interview with her from, like, all these others that are very much so sit down interview, explain your game, what have you. I want to open this up to you guys. So this episode that what we're going to do, and I'll let you guys know later when the exact day is going to be. But when it happens, you guys are going to have your comments ready for Rachel. I will be reading your chat live with Rachel on the stream. So if you have any questions, comments, things you want to ask her about her game, this isn't just my interview with Rachel. Yes, I'll interview her as well. But I want you guys to be able to get your voice out there. That's what I think is different from what you see on these other podcasts, where when they do the interview, it's just one-on-one and we just watch and listen to their interviews with the cast. I want this to be you guys run the show. I'm asking the questions that you're putting out there. And then I'm also getting my questions asked as well while talking to Rachel about her season, the show, her experience, what have you. So get your stuff written down now. Be ready on what you want to say to Rachel. We will be taking your guys' comments live on stream here when we do get her on. When is Rachel coming on? I missed it. Dave, so I got a message back from her. She's down to come on. We're still working on what would be the best time for her to do it. I'm shooting for next week, but I will have it posted on my social media, so you can find it at Goodsby Bobby. I will alert you guys. If you guys hit the notification button so you're notified on my social media when I post something, I will notify you guys there when we have set in stone the interview. And I will also post something on YouTube as well. I'll make a little video letting you guys know when I will be going live with Rachel. So very much so looking forward to that. Very excited about it. Make sure you guys have all of your questions ready because I will be taking them down. However, I know the stream might get a little crazy. So we might have to figure out a way to format it a little bit better because we might get a lot of people asking questions. But we will cross that bridge when it comes. So right now, my plan is to allow the people that are here that know this, be ready, have your comments, and we will get to it. If the chat gets crazy, we'll go from there. So very much so looking forward to that, and I'll let you guys know in the coming days what the information is on that. Kendra says, awesome news. Yay. I'm very excited as well. You really want me asking questions? Maybe not Dave, but everyone else is allowed to comment. Dave and Frick are the ones aren't allowed to comment. And you can tell me in person or text so I won't forget. I got you, Dave. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that. And I think we talked pretty in depth today about, the game mechanics, the meta of it all. I think I might cut this stream a little bit short. I've got some work on the back end I need to do, but I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all of the new faces we saw in here, all the OGs, everybody that made a comment and stayed with me and was part of the chat. You guys are the best. Without you guys, this is not possible. And this is our community show. It's not just my show. It's all of us hanging out, talking about reality TV, talking about the shows that we love. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Like I said, hit the like, hit the bell notification, leave a comment in the YouTube comments. It helps us out. I answer everyone's comments there as well after the show. So please leave a comment there. If you have any questions, concerns, what have you, hit me up on social media. With that being said, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all of the hard work you guys said and did to add to the chat in this episode. And I will be back next Monday, hopefully with more information on Rachel. But yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, we go live noon to 2 Pacific. Follow me on social media so you're notified when the Rachel interview will be going on. And I look forward to having you all there. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.